Hey, vinyl community, Jeff here, and I was not expecting to come back with this. This is a impromptu video as far as the fact that I wasn't planning on doing this today. I just postponed the contest one, but I knew this item was in the stages of coming, but kind of forgot. And so when the mailman came, I'm like, well, what's he bringing me? Because I'm really not expecting anything. And then he brought me this box. I realized when I saw the outside of it and saw the big red sticker, as soon as I see these big red stickers and the yellow one I don't usually see because this one says vinyl. Anyway, when I saw the lo-fi sticker, I realized immediately, oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! I was thrilled. This has literally been years in the making because this was one of those Kickstarter programs that started and then COVID held it all up. And held it up, 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 and held it up. And I don't know how many years we've been waiting for this. I mean, you know, probably wasn't too drastically, but probably a couple. Now, let's jump right in. Let's jump right in. Okay, let me open this up. Let me get some of this stuff out so you can see it. We are talking about one of my favorite bands. One of my favorite bands of all time. Just one of those favorite bands. I've harped about them before in the past. I've made videos about them before in the past. Anyway, the 77s. And this is their live album called 88. It's live in 88. The 77s, 88. So, there have been a lot of different Kickstarter plans. They've released a lot of their stuff on vinyl based on the Kickstarter plans. They've released a lot of extensive expanded CDs, demos, all that stuff. This was like, I guess, one of the ones in line. I mean, there's still a lot of studio albums to go, but hey, let's do and reissue one of the most popular live albums in their catalog. You know, this is dating back to the 80s stuff. They started off as kind of quirky, poppy, punkish, sort of, kind of, and then they kind of just fell into a, they're all over the place. They're all over the place, but, you know, more of an alternative, just kind of a rock band. One of their greatest live albums. Hey, they're like, hey, let's reissue it on vinyl. And so, yeah, I jumped right on board, of course, immediately. Now, the 77s notoriously always have Kickstarter programs that go way over, not over budget, but over a goal. So they set a goal, hey, we need, I don't know what the goal was. We need $30,000 to release this. And by the end of the first week, they got $80,000. So it's crazy, stupid how sometimes how their fans are and rabid are. They're so rabid, it exceeds the goal so quick, so fast. And so what the band does at no additional cost to the people who have already, you know, so you buy in on one album, you know, hey, I'm going to buy in at this album on this color for this amount. And then as that goal what they call stretch goals, as it exceeds that goal and keeps growing, they keep saying, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to add this, and we're going to add that, and we're going to add this, and we're going to add that. And this one just went crazy. So I told my wife, I said, yeah, that 77's box set will be coming one day, probably next week. And I don't even recall what it is I'm getting because it just kept morphing. Well, here it is. Here it is. Let me show you what we got. So this is the album. It is a double album, never before on vinyl. I'm going to open it real quick because multiple colors available. Okay, yeah, so they always have multiple colors. First, let's look at the gatefold. It's just a live shot. Oh, I'm so excited. And it's been remastered and cleaned up and extra stuff added to it. I may have just gotten black. They have so many different colors. I may have just went with black. Yeah, I did. All right. So, each color tends to be a little more expensive. And I like black, and, you know, I know that black is just, it's going to sound pretty much perfect. Color, sometimes you don't always know. Not that I've ever I've gotten lots of their albums on color, and they sound, some of the best pressings. These guys really go over and above some of the best pressings, cleanest sounds. So that was the campaign. Hey, let's put out this album. Oh, we reached over the goal. I think I also purchased, I guess I went with the got the CD too. I always get the CD stuff because they have extras here. Now, on this live album, there were, what was it, I believe, 4 songs that they played on this live album that were never on any studio album. So they only appeared on the live album. So the band said, if we reach I'm recalling this, hopefully I'm getting it right. If we reach such and such a stretch goal, the band will go into the studio and make studio versions of that. And that's what they did, and they released 2020. 77's 2020, which is the 4 live songs on 88 that weren't on the studio album, now recorded with great precision and attempt to make it sound as much like the live version as could be done. In other words, they didn't want it to have it. They wanted to have the same groove and everything because the live versions came out so well. So they really meticulously went in and tried to reproduce it in a studio environment. Then they added on top of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more live tracks. So you've got a whole CD, 4 plus 5. Now the 88s, it became disc 1, which was 88, and then it became disc 2, which was 88 rough mixes, and then the third disc is a DVD live at DNA Lounge. The digital downloads that they sent us for this also include the audio of the DVD. So, and it's just a old video. So they kept adding, well, we're going to throw in this old video concert we did. So they did that. They went in the studio. They recorded the 88. They did that. Great stuff. When 88 was reissued by, I forget who reissued it, years later, 10 years later, it was like a 10-year anniversary, I think it was. Maybe it was in 98 or whatever. Maybe there's whatever. There was a reissue of it, and they threw in a second disc called When Numbers Get Serious. Let's throw that on CD too and add that in there, and it's like a whole nother live set, and I'm not sure. I have to go back and look whether or not this was even expanded beyond the original. So a reissued of this as a standalone thing. But hey, we're not done. For anybody that bought the vinyl edition, hey, we're going to put 2020 on vinyl also. There it is. 4 songs plus 3 live songs. I have to compare. I can't recall if these 3 live are the same. Jesus Drove a Cadillac, Unbalanced, Gomorrah, The Years Go Down, Mercy Mercy, Rocks in Your Head medley. And we got Jesus Drove a Cadillac, Unbalanced, and Gomorrah. So we don't have the medley on here that we have on that. So, but here it is. Let's put it on vinyl. And again, no extra cost to those of you who paid whatever. You maybe paid $50 for the vinyl and CD combo. We're going to give you a second vinyl edition for free. All right. They got a card in here too. It says 2020. Details and notes. Ooh, okay, yeah. This is a splatter. Red and... Makes sense, red and yellow. Goes with the logo. So, but wait. There's more. One of the final stretch goals, and one of the only reasons that 2 years ago in the lottery I gave away my OG copy of this album, is because I knew that the stretch goal had been met and that they were going to reissue this. So I sent it to Rod, the Happy Hippie guy, for the I had the number sign for the lottery in 2021. So again, we've been waiting for this album for that long, but I knew this was coming and it was getting reissued, remastered, and all that stuff. So I sent my OG to him, hoping he would enjoy it because it's absolutely one of my favorite albums. And that's the self-titled 77's album. Now, it's a self-titled album, but it's their third album. So, you know, one of those bands where they put out 2 albums and then the third one is this. So this is about the time where they kind of were losing their punkish, new wave punk feel, even though he's got the crazy hair. And they were, you know, there is some of that, but it wasn't as much that. And so this is where they just, everything, this album is absolutely just near perfect. And it is, some of these songs they still to this day play. So yeah, we've got the album on disc 1 at side 1 and 2. And then disc 3, we've got some live stuff. And disc, you know, disc first and second side. Got the insides, got some cool pictures and stuff. The original did not, you know, was not a gatefold, so that's nice to have. A piece of plastic won't let me go. And yes, the album, I think the only option for this was a yellow, so there you go. Oh, that is beautiful. It's opaque. I'm so thrilled. One of my favorite albums, and now I've got a remastered, expanded edition on 180, I'm assuming, gram. Anyway, now there's you know, there's a little more. Not, you know, it's like, okay, still more stretch goals. There was actually some stretch goals where they actually if you had bought into a large enough package, you could actually have bought the like master tapes, I think, because this was a campaign. When they were all done with it, they would send you the master tapes. You weren't allowed to release them, but you owned them. So, but they did put in a slip mat with the 77's logo, which is the logo that was on the bass drum for this album here, and for that time frame. This is beautiful, beautiful stuff. So yeah, it's a logo slip mat. But you know, if you go back and look for my other 77's videos, I show a lot of the combo sets that they've done. They always tend to do 2 or 3 disc sets, and they are flooding us with so much great music, so much odd music at times, so much raw music. Anyway, yeah, big fan. Still musically active. Hadn't been a 77's actual album in a little while, but you know, who knows, maybe. But the reissues are coming. It's just they keep coming. There hasn't been a new one started yet, but I can't wait to see what the next one is they're doing. So that's all, though. Thanks for watching. Check them out if you haven't. One of my favorite bands, just near and dear to my heart. And I do thank you for watching, and I'll be back later. Rock on and rock hard.